A shame we can't do more. But we hope you enjoyed the fanfare. Good morning, good evening, and good night to all. My name is Hades, Community Manager and Head of Customer Support for PokéFarm Q. I'm here with Art Team Lead Shazzy.
Heyo, I'm Shazzy. I make pretty things.
System Admin and the only non-yet dev Moonsy.
Hello everyone. I make things, break things, then fix them again before anyone can figure it out.
Chief of Staff and PFQ Director Garthik.
Thanks, Hades. Hi everyone, I'm Garthik. It's great to finally talk to you all about what's coming.
And of course, the father of PokéFarm Q, Nyet.
Oh, that's me he's talking about. Hello.
Now that we're all introduced, let's talk about why we've made this video. To put it simply, PFQ is changing. A month ago, we kicked off a user satisfaction survey, and we're very grateful for all the invaluable information you all shared with us. It's shown us that whilst there is a lot of love for our game, there are places we can improve, and we hope to do just that. One message that we've heard loud and clear is a hope for more communication. The dev blog that Nyet has been sharing has had a very positive response, and several kind messages came up with regards to those dev blog posts. So in this video, we hope to take a first step in building these bridges with you all. And so, we'll be touching on what happened in 2025, and most importantly, a roadmap of what to expect in 2026.
Yay!
So, 2025, let's talk about that. Yet, over the course of 2025, you set about to rewrite PFQ, bring it up to date with current technologies, and fix some of the old spaghetti code.
Correct.
But that didn't quite go as you hoped.
Evidently. I should probably elaborate on that. The biggest reason why I dove into it was out of concern about performance issues in the core of the system. To give an example, if when you load a field, it gets the data of the up to 40 Pokemon within, right? That includes their custom descriptions, some of which I've seen can be essays of backstory, with more than a few commenting on all known laws of aviation. All that data gets loaded, either from memory if it's there, or from the database and then shoved into memory, when all you really care about is the basics like species, gender, flavor preference. That's just one example of the failings of the object model that PFQ uses. I can't just load the bits we care about. So I explored some options, but the way I went about it, I was kind of solving the wrong problem. I can't just patch over PFQ's code, it's going to take a much more concerted effort. One that I'm happy to make with newfound knowledge and skills, but I can't just keep putting everything on hold while I do it.
I see, that's a shame. But we definitely look forward to seeing what those new skills and reignited passion can do for the game. Before we move on to the next topic, Moonsy, I know you wanted to talk about something that was also brought about in 2025.
Yes, thank you. In 2025, we made the GitHub repository to allow for people to send in their user scripts to be approved and added to the site in farm settings. However, the adoption rate has not been that what we expected. We'd like to push towards official usage, allowing everyone the benefit of trusted code supported on all platforms, mobile and desktop. So, to the developers out there, we would like to know why scripts have not been submitted via this method to see if it's an instruction problem we can solve with guides, or if there's something else we need to do. As, in the future, we would like to go towards forbidding sharing of non-approved user scripts on the site, because if you don't know what you're doing, those scripts can be very dangerous.
Thank you, Moonsy. Well, with the view of 2025 out of the way, let's start looking forward to 2026, done in tandem with survey data provided by you, our players. At the top of the list, an item that was greatly requested is please, please, please do something about the berry garden. Yet, what can we expect on that front?
Well, the current garden's got some long-standing issues. It's been described as a set-and-forget system, right up until the moment you actually forget, and then it's punishing. Watering schedules are rigid, information is spread out or unclear, the UI is very plain. Even when you're doing everything right, the optimal strategy ends up being plant the same berry over and over, check back on a timer and leave again. We want the garden to become a feature you interact with intentionally, not out of obligation. We want it to feel like a real part of your fun, not as a chore checklist. So the overhaul focuses on two major goals. One, make the garden more visually engaging, and two, make the gameplay deeper, but without making it necessarily harder. Everything else builds on these ideas.
So you've mentioned visually making the garden more appealing. What can we hope to see on that front?
Veteran players who are around for PF1 or even PFQ before the recode might remember that the garden actually looked like a garden. After the recode, however, it just became this bland pile of boxes. The main reason for that was that I could not at the time find any way to make the visual style work on mobile browsers, which was a major constraint when designing the recode. Thanks to advancements in CSS, we're actually going to be able to have a nice graphical layout that works on both desktop and mobile. The other major flaw with the current system is a lack of information. Sure, a lot of it is documented on the wiki, but the game should not be as opaque as it is. So in this new system, there'll be information provided about the stats of your berries and the garden as a whole. And the last issue I'll bring up for now is that it takes forever to do anything in the garden. Planting, gotta click one by one. Watering, auto waters very slow, manual is tedious. The fix for that is going to be bulk actions. You select a tool like the watering can or berry to plant, drag over some plots to bulk select them, hit confirm and done.
Well, that sounds very interesting. I know I, for one, am looking forward to the new look of paint. What can we expect to see in terms of new mechanics?
Well, right now every plot behaves the same, which removes any real decision making. In the overhaul, soil develops flavor stats. It's the same flavor profile that berries use. Different berries will consume or replenish different flavor values, and over time your soil can drift, and certain berries will grow better or worse depending on the conditions. The soil will naturally return towards neutral over time, and the effects appear gradually. You won't ruin your garden by planting the same berry a few times, but long-term patterns start to matter. The intention is to give players reasons to vary what they plant, and make the garden feel like a living system rather than a static machine. The current watering system's kinda strict. Miss a stage or let the soil go dry even briefly and you lose your perfect harvest. The new system's more forgiving and more intuitive, so plants will now consume water in steady intervals. The speed still varies based on the berry type, but it's more continuous rather than consuming a big blob of water every hour. This new consistency means the notification system can alert you a certain amount of time before the soil goes dry, but even if you miss it by a few minutes, it won't actually damage the plant until the next time it tries to take water when there's none left, so there's even more leeway. Despite that, if a plant does dry out, it is a soft penalty, not an automatic failure. Perfect harvests are still possible, just less likely. And all of this encourages active play without punishing people who can't check in at an exact minute of the day. On the topic of missing things, in the current system, if you miss a harvest, the plant regrows. This is an old mechanic taken from the main Pokemon games, but in practice it confuses players and makes timing unpredictable. It's especially the case for players who plant berries that take 12 hours to grow, which die and regrow after another 12 hours, but the player only checks in once every 24 hours, and to them it looks like nothing is happening. Instead, mature plants will now wither if left too long. Clearing them gives a decent chance to recover one berry, as well as leafy remains, which are new compostable material.
Leafy remains and compost. Can we expect to see anything else in terms of new items?
Yeah, we're expanding the set of garden items so players have meaningful optional choices rather than one correct strategy. So, compost affects whole soil patches and either adjusts flavor stats or enables special effects. For example, you can compost berries to help enrich the soil in a specific flavor. There'll also be compost that prepares the soil for perfect berries, or there'll even be some that will help you get certain accessories or other items along with your harvest. Next up, mulch. Instead of being selected at the beginning, mulch is now applied to plants and lasts 4 hours per item. You can stack more of the same mulch to extend its duration. Different mulch types affect growth speed, water usage, or special mechanics like preventing withering. Finally, when the plant is ready to harvest, you can apply tonics. These provide last-minute adjustments, fixing mixed watering stages, boosting minimum yields, improving nectar harvesting, and more. These are intended as occasional helpers, not mandatory items. So this creates a 3-part toolset. You plan the soil, manage the plant, then optimize the harvest, all without requiring players to engage with any system that they don't enjoy.
And to confirm, none of these are pay-to-win items.
Nope. Now let me tell you about one of the most exciting additions. While growing, plants will be able to attract wild Pokemon. Common bugs may show up, but rare encounters like Scyther or Heracross can also appear. Some berries might even have unique Pokemon they can attract. You can adopt the visitor, or chase it away. There's no capture RNG, the randomness is in whether something appears, not whether you succeed in catching it. Some compost and mulch types can also affect these encounters, increasing odds or widening the pool, giving players new ways to hunt and collect. This also allows us to move certain species out of the lab and into features where they make more thematic sense, like we did with fishing. And there you have it. The main goal of the redesign is simple. Make the berry garden worth caring about. With the new systems, you'll be able to enjoy a much more lively feature with meaningful choices that impact your outcomes. Most importantly, the garden becomes a feature you can engage with at your own pace, something that rewards attention without demanding perfection.
Well, I'll admit, I'm not much of a berry farmer, but I'm definitely excited to see that. We're going to take a brief intermission, but there's lots more to come, so stay tuned. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed both the gift and the contents of the intermission. Now, coming back into it, gameplay is great, but we can't just rely on ideas taken directly from the survey. The true endgame of any game will always be fashion and cosmetics, and that's an area we've been slacking on. Shazzy, I hear you've got some things in the work for us. What can we hope to see?
Thank you, Hades. So, as many of you know, the trainer customization has been rather neglected in recent years. This has a lot to do with the fact that the original system was not designed to be streamlined from the art team's perspective. We have to recolor every single outfit and hairstyle individually for every color palette that we have available on the user side. This is a lot of work. Every single outfit for all 3 trainer styles multiplied by the amount of color options we have, 12 for outfits and 15 for hair. It becomes a monumental task, which, as you have seen, makes it difficult for us to produce anything for it. So our plan is to recreate the trainer customization from the ground up. It will involve a lot of back-end stuff that will not really be seen from the user end, but it will make it a lot less work for the art team. This means we will get more outfits and more hairstyles more often, which is what everyone wants to see. We also intend on making some style adjustments. Our plan is to go to something akin to the Heart Gold Soul Silver intro animations. This is a style we enjoy, it's familiar, and it's distinctly Pokemon. Currently, our trainer is pretty large and cumbersome on the page, which can be jarring when you're comparing it to our Pokemon sprites, which are at most 100 by 100 pixels. To resolve this, we're going to be making the trainer sprites a little bit smaller in size, just enough to make it less jarring to look at without losing too much detail. With this style and size change, we will have to remake all of the existing outfits and hairstyles. Our goal will be to have as many of those ready as possible for when the new system launches and add any we're missing in the next few releases. From there, we'll be adding new options for people to choose from as often as possible. Ultimately, we've learned a lot from our first iteration of trainer customization, and we're hoping to put those lessons to good use and create a better experience for the users with a new and improved system.
Fun! It's definitely been a while since we've seen any changes in there, but with such a fancy new trainer customization, won't that be held back by the rather simplistic trainer cards?
On the subject of trainer cards, we will also be introducing some trainer card customization. The existing customization, if we could call it that, is a 3-star achievement system. The goals being hatch a melanistic Pokemon, obtain all wish alloy for all badge types, and claim the complete rank at least once. As you progress through those goals, your trainer card changes from purple to bronze, silver and gold, according to how many of these achievements you've gotten. This is a great way to encourage play and to give some really solid goals for people to reach. However, this can leave people who have already achieved this, such as myself, a little lost on what else to do. So our plan is to introduce some new customization options. Some of these will be earnable through different goals and progression systems, and others will be purchasable with ZC and GP. What these achievements and goals will look like will vary depending on the customization. Some options might include reaching the top 200 of a tournament or reaching certain ranks through the dex completion. The goal is to keep adding to this over time, and as we expand into the new year and into new systems we produce, and add new options to the game itself. Hopefully, this will give a lot of people some new goals.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Anything else?
Yes, there's even more. Our final new addition will be an avatar system which will have selectable avatars made by the art team. These will not require specific credit, much like the existing silhouette with a question mark default avatar we already use. This idea is springboarded off the advent calendar avatars from years past, which provided people with a cute and easy option to use that was Christmas themed. This has proven super popular, as have the slide puzzle images from our most recent Halloween event. So we're going to be taking that idea and building a system to allow people to choose avatars from a variety of categories, including the advents from years past, Easter, Halloween, Carnival, and we will be adding non-seasonal options as well. Our initial release will include all of the starter Pokemon available on PFQ, including the non-traditional starters like Skitty and Helioptile. We plan to add more variety as time goes on to include our seasonal events, as well as non-seasonal options, which will include variants, exclusives, and just Pokemon in general, because Pokemon are fun and we like Pokemon. I am personally really excited for this system to go in place. It's something I've wanted for quite some time, in particular because of how we've handled the advent calendars by producing the avatars for people to use, but then relying on the wiki to have them available in later years. The goal here is to put them all together in a simple menu that you can look through and just click and go.
Well, with so many new things to spend our credits, gold, and Zofan on, the way we currently do things is going to be a bit complicated. Never fear, Lindsay and I are working on a solution for that, to avoid the game becoming overwhelming.
Have you ever realized way too late that some boost existed that could have saved your whole hunt? Yeah, same. Been there, cried about it, moved on. Kinda. Turns out, a bunch of users were like, where do I even find stuff? What can I even do with my Horde of ZC? Or even, the Platinum Amulet exists? Since when? No, I made that one up. But the other questions, entirely valid.
So, the conclusion we came up with, the storefront, a shiny new hub where you can see every item you can buy with Zofan canisters, plus their gold Poke versions. All nice and neat. Everything lined up, no digging through hordes, and no surprise items falling on your head.
Probably.
Just a simple side-by-side view of what you can pick out that fits your playstyle. Easy peasy.
Okay. Sneak peek time. Look, items, prices. And when you hit purchase, it even asks how many you want. See? Actual organization. Sally would be proud. Or suspicious. Or both. Anyway, this is all still a work in progress, so your feedback is super welcome.
With all of that out of the way, whilst it's obviously not everything we've got to present to you, it is a bit much, so we'll have a brief intermission, and we'll be right back with you after this. Hello, and welcome back. That was quite a lot to get through, and we hope you look forward to it as much as we do. But please don't think that we're stopping at just one updated system and some cosmetics. As I said at the start, we've been looking at how we can improve the game, and your feedback has been invaluable, so here's what we're cooking up. First question, what exactly is happening to the shelter?
We're nuking it into oblivion, gone, vaporized, reduced to subatomic dust.
Or in less dramatic terms, it'll be fully removed from the game. No more shelter, and we'll replace it with some new systems.
But nuked into oblivion is the official phrasing, right?
But what about shelter passes, adoption buffs, shelter adoption vouchers, and all that? Wouldn't that make gameplay super restrictive?
Or all the current shelter progression systems would become daycare progression systems. Shelter Pass X would become Daycare Pass X, and all those adoptions that you would have spent in the shelter you can now spend directly in your own daycare. We'll make sure to have a comfortable transition for all such buffs and items, including Shazzy Counter.
Wahoo!
I see. The survey I conducted showed that the main reason people use the shelter was for bypassing the daycare adoption limit, which they felt was too restrictive. Hopefully, giving people more freedom in their daycare will help with that. As I understand it, credits will no longer be earned through clicks. How will players earn credits now?
Correct, credits will no longer be earned through clicks. Instead, players will primarily gain credits by selling Pokemon and eggs.
and their value will scale based on things like rarity, hatching XP, and other criteria.
If you sell eggs directly from the daycare, they'll be set at a default egg value. Eggs that are in your party and yet to be hatched will see their value increase between the base value and the level 1 value of a hatched egg based on how far along it is. Then, the higher level the Pokemon, the more credits you can earn.
Now, what about specials? How do they fit in?
Specials can now be sold for DP and credits using standard requisition orders.
Though Delta Point yields differ from credits, obviously. Basically, selling a regular, credits. Selling a special, credits plus Delta Points. This will replace the Holon Tower Delta Point turn-ins.
It says here special requisition orders. What's that all about?
Those are a set of additional objectives that will refresh weekly. They will give special rewards based on multiple difficulty tiers.
But they'll require specific traits: nature, gender, variance. Think, bring us timid female shiny Magikarp, and you'll get a special reward.
Adoption buffs and new ways to earn that don't require people to break their hands sounds wonderful. But according to the survey, another reason people like the shell tools is as a means to fill their decks. Do we have any plans to fill that need?
While users can already engage in Dex Trade and Wonder Trades, the solution we've come up with is to introduce a new voucher. It'll let a player redeem a random, non-exclusive, non-legendary, basic stage Pokemon that they don't already have in their Pokedex.
You'll be able to earn these items through progression systems or certain special requisition orders.
And it's also worth noting that this is not a ZC item, and no premium currency is required for this.
That all sounds great. On a related note, the survey we conducted had some heavy support for an alternative to trade evolution. Link cables. Any chance we'll see them on PFQ?
We will be adding them, but they will be a premium item, in the same category as nature mints. We still want players to trade for dex completion whenever possible.
But link cables offer an alternative for those people who've told us in surveys that they can't or don't want to rely on trades.
Now, final point. Shazzy. All these new systems, which of our NPCs is going to be handling all of this?
Whilst we did think in the business of trade, Doug the Merchant would be the appropriate choice, we actually want to bring Wendy from the supplier into a more prevalent role. PokéFarm has always meant to be a farm game, where people would raise Pokemon, breed eggs, and the such. And farms rarely do that sort of stuff from the goodness of their heart, but rather as a for-profit business. Wendy has always brought us eggs from other farms or other places, so this is really just an expansion of that.
Well, I think that covers everything. Any last comments?
Only that the transition should feel more progression-based and less click-dependent.
The economy should feel more stable too.
Also, I still vote we keep the phrase nuked into oblivion in the patch notes. Either that, or Sally dropped a Draco Meteor.
Oh, and in case any of you are worried, please don't think that all of this means that you lose out on other things. With everything that we have talked about so far, all of the projects, all of the changes, you might be wondering what happens to the things that run as standard. And honestly, that would be a fair question. So allow me to put such concerns to rest. The core of PokéFarm isn't stopping for any of what has been previously discussed. There is no trade-off here. We are not stopping anything in order to do these things instead. Monthly Masquerade weekends are still happening, seasonal events are still happening, and of course the rollout of Legends EA continues as planned.
Before we wrap things up, I'm excited to announce that we intend to launch a community outreach program. This community outreach program seeks to work with content creators within our community, whereby approved content creators will receive exclusive giveaway codes to share with their communities. Now, we understand that PFQ is not a game that can be easily streamed for a long period of time or have a long video made about it, and so the idea is to work with each content creator individually to negotiate not only individual rewards for accomplishing the goals that were set, but also what those goals actually are will be defined individually based on each person's platform. If you're interested in joining in or finding out more, we'll be creating a forum thread dedicated to this purpose, and we'll provide you with a template you'll be able to fill out to apply. And that's our time here today. We thank you for a year spent with us, and we look forward to another year with you. Wishing you happy holidays and a happy new year. Thank you all.
I hope we're all ready for the pretties.
Bye! This could have been a forum post.